Yeah, there's a lot of work to do. I think maybe some of the reason you saw players use their voice over the last weekend is the dynamic status quo we've got concerns on, and hey, that process needs to speed up and maybe evolve in terms of what the conversation is.
Understood. All right, a lot of people may not know, but you're a former player. You've played in a lot of different leagues at high levels.
No, I was not a good player. Don't do that to me.
I've seen your resume. You're a good player, my friend. Tell me though, your days of playing, how much has the league evolved from when you're playing till now, and the working conditions, the facilities, the travel? Has it gotten that much better?
Yeah, it's definitely evolved. I think this whole thing, when I step back, particularly when we think about lower divisions, and I say lower divisions because you had NASL, USL, all these sort of things, I rope it all in as kind of, one continual movement. Um, I think from a player end, it's really, really important that this stabilizes. I think a big portion of my own career was navigating a fairly unstable environment. Certainly through that, there has been steps towards that, but I'd say it's fairly nonlinear. Uh, there's two steps forward, one step back, and a lot of things going on. And as you said, there's still a good amount of distance as we continue to grow the sport to get to something that is truly sustainable for all the entities involved.
So there's almost this balance, right? So we want to make things a lot better, and we want to let the world know that it's not quite good enough right now. But you also don't want to scream from the hills about that, because there are youth players and players who are thinking in the next couple of months to a year to jump in and get going with their pro career.
Mhm.
If you were standing right now in front of a group of young men that were thinking of going pro in the next 6 to 12 months, what's something you could tell them, or how would you educate them and to send them to get them to be in the best path for their career?
Yeah, I'd say a couple things on an individual level. If that hunger is inside of you, pursue it. I'd say on the other side of it is, hey, understand you're walking into something that is continuing to evolve.
Mm.
You're walking into a brotherhood of players. Well, brotherhood is more expansive. It's sisterhood too now for our organization of, you know, players, and wherever they're at, past, present, future, there's always a piece of lead the sport better than you found it. So I'd encourage you to come in, pursue your career, put all your passion into it, but make sure at the end of your career, whenever that is, that you've moved the sport forward. And from where I sit, I think one of the major things on that is, does the next player that comes behind you, are they treated more equitably than what's happened historically here? And how do we continue to make kind of positive changes to make sure that the sport really belongs with the two entities that are central in it, and that's players and fans.
Understood. All right, what's something right now, if you could scream from the hills, tell everybody who's watching, like this is the one thing that the players right now are really upset about, and we need to get over the line. There's one piece that, man, if people just aren't understanding how important it is, what's that one thing right now that we really need to amplify to get the message out?
Yeah, I think that's about aligning the clubs and league here, that they need to be on the same page. They need to be working in concert, particularly at a financial level. Making improvements in that, I think, will go a long way towards stabilizing clubs and stabilizing the player experience. So I think, if that's something to hone in on, I know that can be a little bit abstract, kind of, hey, how does the league actually work and those sorts of things. But I think that is a foundational thing, particularly, a lot of people are thinking that pro rel is maybe, a solve for a lot of these things. And I think there's a lot of validity in that, but is pro rel put on put into a system that's not fully stable in terms of the structure? Does it actually solve the foundational issue, or do you need to solve the foundational issue and then implement it?
Right.